She used to ignite stadiums with a single roar. Now the woman behind those fireworks is watching her fairy tale engagement fizzle in real time. How did Katy Perry go from chart-topping powerhouse to a headline magnet for flops, lawsuits, and a very public split from Orlando Bloom? Stick around because the twists you're about to hear, from spaceflight backlash to backstage blow-ups, are wilder than any pop anthem she's ever sung. On July 3, pop culture feeds lit up with the same alert. It's over. In a joint statement to Page 6, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom said they had been shifting their relationship over the past many months to focus on co-parenting, quietly confirming that their 6-year engagement had fizzled. For industry insiders, the shock wasn't the split, only the timing. TMZ had already signaled trouble in late June, and People sources called the break a long time coming, pointing to months of tension amplified by stalled singles, brutal reviews, and unblinking tabloid glare. 72 hours later, the ex-fiancés chased 4-year-old Daisy across Jeff Bezos' billion-dollar yacht off Italy's Amalfi Coast, proof that their new family-first pledge is more than PR copy. Orlando had just flown solo to Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Venice wedding, while Katy prepped the Australian leg of her Lifetime's tour, evidence they're already experts at living separate lives together. The placid vacation photos can't erase months of built-up friction, but they do tee up the bigger question: what kind of career freefall or cosmic misstep sparked the implosion of pop's glitziest power couple? Because the breakup didn't start with that tidy statement, it started the moment Katy's winning streak began to wobble. The downward spiral started long before the breakup headlines. In September 2024, Katy dropped 143, and the numbers crashed harder than a forgotten ringtone. The album limped onto the Billboard 200 at number 6, with barely 48,000 equivalent units, her weakest opening to date. And critics handed it a chilling 38 on Metacritic, the lowest score ever logged by a female pop star on the site. One review called the record oddly cold dance pop that feels AI-generated. The warning shot had come 2 months earlier, when the so-called comeback single, Woman's World, fizzled out at number 63 on the Hot 100 and vanished a week later. Pundits ridiculed its paint-by-numbers girl boss lyrics, and the Dr. Luke production credit ignited fresh outrage. The Guardian branded it regressive, warmed-over feminism, while social feeds memed the Rosie the Riveter video into oblivion. Any hope of a live show redemption evaporated on Australia's biggest stage. Paid a reported $5 million to warm up the AFL Grand Final, Katy leaned on decade-old hits, while the crowd barely registered 2 new tracks. Reviewers blasted the 17-minute set as uneventful, and sports pages declared it proof that her new era had already flatlined. Each flop fed the next. Dreary sales forecasts spooked U.S. promoters, advanced tickets for the Lifetime's tour stalled at some venues, and industry blogs whispered about possible cancellations before the first arena doors even opened. The chain reaction was in motion, and the stage itself would soon become the next battleground. The Lifetime's tour was supposed to be Katy's triumphant comeback, until gravity, TikTok, and half-empty arenas teamed up to turn it into headline fodder. Mid-show in Adelaide, a gleaming metal sphere hoisted her above the crowd, then lurched sideways, nearly pitching her into darkness. Fans gasped, crew scrambled, and millions replayed the shaky phone video before the song even ended. Days earlier, clips from opening night were already roasting on every feed. Katy in a space-aged cone bra, stomping through stiff robo-moves that one commenter dubbed the worst choreography of my life. Another snarked, "It's a school talent show." The phrase, shockingly bad, trended for hours. Behind those viral moments lurked a quieter crisis: soft ticket sales. Industry trackers warned in March that U.S. stops were moving so slowly that whole dates might be scrapped. Music Times counted thousands of empty seats at arenas that once sold out on announcement day, with some venues barely 40% full a week before showtime. One insider claimed promoters were even floating cancellation plans if last-minute sales didn't spike. Publicly, Katy laughed off the memes and thanked fans for riding this Disneyland on wheels with me. Privately, according to tour staffers coded off-record, each new clip or scathing review ratcheted up tension in the dressing rooms and on late-night calls with Orlando. And while the stage crew fixed cables and choreographers tweaked routines, another controversy was already rocketing toward her at orbital speed. Next up, the Blue Origin flight that critics say sent her brand crashing back to Earth. Just 6 weeks before her summer dates, Katy blasted off on Blue Origin's April 14, 2025 all-female hop, an 11-minute joyride that cost each passenger a six-figure deposit and, in Katy's case, a mountain of online scorn. Critics called the mission tone-deaf's space tourism for the ultra-rich, mocking her zero-gravity rendition of "What a Wonderful World." Perry tried to clap back, telling fans she felt like a human piñata, but was still proud to push boundaries for women in STEM. The defense fell flat. Reddit threads fumed that labeling paying passengers "crew" was pure marketing spin, and memes compared the flight to 11 minutes of influencer cosplay. Worse, rumors say Orlando Bloom wasn't impressed. Multiple tabloids report he called the stunt cringeworthy and embarrassing during a fierce argument, words that, according to insiders, cut deeper than the social media pylon. From that moment, whispers of a breakup went from background noise to deafening buzz. The backlash rippled through ticket sales and headlines alike, turning what should have been a career-rejuvenating moonshot into yet another PR tailspin. And while engineers guided the capsule safely back to Earth, the landing for Katy's personal life was far rougher, setting the stage for the legal firestorm waiting just around the corner. When the album reviews stopped stinging, the summonses started arriving. First up was the now infamous Westcott Mansion War. In February, Katy countersued 85-year-old Army veteran Carl Westcott for roughly $6 million in lost rent and damages after a court had already handed her the $15 million Montecito estate. Westcott's family called the move greedy and unforgivable, and headlines echoed their fury for days. The optics got even uglier when lawmakers introduced the so-called Perry Act, short for Protecting Elder Realty for Retirement Years. Drafted in 2023 and still floating through committee in 2025, the bill would force a 72-hour cool-off window on deals involving homeowners over 75. Journalists openly credited Katy's real estate track record with inspiring the measure, cementing her name as legislative shorthand for celebrity overreach. Then came the security scare. On June 18th, court papers reveal, Katy filed a civil harassment restraining order against Ross Elliott Hedrick, a transient who twice slipped onto her Santa Barbara property. The filing also asked for protection for Orlando Bloom, underscoring how intertwined their lives remained even after the split. A judge granted a temporary order within 5 days, and tabloids splashed the ring cam images across every feed. Each lawsuit, each headline, chipped away at public goodwill. And while her legal team fought on paper, fans began connecting the dots, wondering if the mounting stress was the real fuse that finally blew up pop's splashiest engagement. But the official papers only told half the story. The breakup's real timeline hides in plain sight, spanning cryptic posts, backstage tears, and whispers that started long before the lawyers showed up. Their last red carpet glow came at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in March 2025. Smiles wide, ring glittering, and no hint that the countdown had already begun. By April, the pressure was rising. Sources say the brutal reception to 143 left Katy deeply frustrated, and every lukewarm chart update sparked another late-night argument. Orlando tried to be supportive, insiders claim, but the constant swirl of bad press put real strain on them both. Early June brought the first public cracks. Paparazzi caught Orlando pushing Daisy's stroller through a Sydney park. No Katy, no ring, just a father-daughter day that tabloids called telling. 10 days later, he RSVP'd solo to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Venice wedding, a move TMZ framed as proof the romance was on life support. June 26th, People confirmed what TMZ had already whispered. After 9 years together, the engagement was done. Sources painted it as a breakup months in the making, not a sudden blow-up. For fans, the emotional fallout played out in real time. July 1, during the final Australian show, Katy teared up mid-set, thanking the crowd while visibly shaking. Clips of her voice cracking on firework spread across TikTok within minutes. The very next day, Orlando posted Carl Jung quotes about loneliness and darkness, then followed with the Buddhist mantra on new beginnings. Comment threads filled with broken heart emojis and theories about who left whom. On July 3rd, the ex-fiancés dropped a joint statement. The romance was over, co-parenting was the mission, and Daisy would remain the priority. Yet, barely 3 days later, the same cameras that chronicled their unraveling caught them laughing on a $500 million yacht off Capri. Proof that, breakup or not, the story isn't finished. And that public display of family unity is where our next chapter begins. Barely a week after the breakup bombshell, the ex-fiancés looked less like shattered lovers and more like a well-oiled tag team. Paparazzi lenses zeroed in on Jeff Bezos' gleaming super yacht off Capri as Katy, black bikini, hair twisted in a tight bun, laughed while Orlando hoisted 4-year-old Daisy skyward, then cooled her down with a dripping cone of stracciatella. The photo screamed vacation bliss, not heartbreak. Insiders say the invite came straight from Bezos himself, giving the newly single stars a safe harbor and a very public stage to prove their family-first promise wasn't just PR copy. The co-parenting choreography didn't stop at sea. Days earlier in Sydney, fans snapped Katy guiding Daisy through Luna Park's rainbow gates while Orlando wrapped up business half a world away. Their travel paths keep crisscrossing. Italy one week, Australia the next, mapping out a new normal where mom and dad orbit the same little star even if they no longer orbit each other. But picture-perfect postcards only tell the surface story. Behind every gelato grin lurks a bigger question. After all this turbulence, where do Katy's lyrics and Orlando's next role go from here? That's where the rumor mill starts to spin. Katy's camp insists she's laser-focused on the tour, but whispers from hotel corridors say something very different. According to crew members quoted by People, the pop star has been stashing a portable setup in every suite, laying down raw voice memos between sound checks and school runs. The same insiders who watched 143 flop now claim she's funneling the year's heartbreak into a far darker record. Think Teenage Dream meets Driver's License. None of that is confirmed, yet fan forums are already tracking file names that pop up on her engineer's public Dropbox folders, convinced a confessional post-Bloom album could surface as early as next spring. While Katy churns pain into playlists, Orlando's phone is lighting up with franchise calls. In a recent press junket for his indie thriller Deep Cover, he said he'd love to get the band back together if Disney finally greenlights Pirate 6. And he echoed the same enthusiasm about slipping back into Legolas boots for Amazon's expanding Lord of the Rings universe, so long as the script honors the lore. Translation: Bloom is ready for a full-scale renaissance, and Hollywood smells opportunity. Then there's the screen everyone's really gossiping about, a streaming docuseries. TikTok sleuths claim producers have approached both camps about a limited co-parenting diary, a la the Kardashians, but with fewer brunch fights and more backstage lullabies. No deal is signed, and reps refuse to comment, yet the rumor mill is churning hard enough that Hulu hashtags hit 1 million views overnight. If cameras do roll, expect Daisy's nickname to trend before the first teaser even drops. Even without a camera crew, Katy's story keeps writing itself in real time. Hours after the split went public, Teenage Dream breezed past 1 billion Spotify streams, reminding everyone why the world still tunes in when she sings, and hinting that the next roar could be her loudest yet. So here's the big question as the yacht photos fade and the arena lights dim. Will Heartbreak hand Katy Perry the comeback soundtrack she's been chasing? Or will Orlando Bloom steal the spotlight by hoisting the Black Pearl sails once more? Either way, the next chapter isn't just a love story. It's a race to see whose reinvention hits the charts or the box office first.